So my fake story is I am a church girl all the way. I grew up in church, one of those. My mom was always in church, baby in church. I grew up. My mom is a singer. I mean, she's like one of those belters, big voice singers. And so when I was younger, she would take me with every time she sang, she would do a lot of singing in church. I started playing the piano. So I became her default musician. And then at church, I played for the youth choir. And I just grew up in church. And around 11 years old is when I was just in church one day and the message just really started speaking to me. And this is when I gave my life to God. And I'm so grateful that at that age I got saved because as I went into teenage adult, it really just helped me and it really defined how I see things, who I am, and even defines the music that I make. So that's my story.
Listen, that's awesome. That's absolutely amazing. Could you share with our viewers maybe the type of music that you actually do? Because this morning I was trying to think about it and I was like, she's outside of every single box. Like and I was like, the only person, there's one person that I could think of. And I was like, okay. And I was trying not to be disrespectful. I was like, if like the heterosexual, her version of Elton John.
Interesting.
That's what I came up with. Just the ability to do so many different things, you know what I'm saying, that are very, very different, but they cross cultures, you know what I mean? And it's just, a name that everybody knows. But and not that you're that colorful, in those outfits, but the point is,
You know what? Thank you. I take it as a compliment.
take it as a compliment. I mean, I'm just saying, like, mixed in with your own vibe. But I'm just saying, as far as the power level and how well known I believe you will be. So,
Thank you.
yeah.
Well, I say my music is inspirational music geared towards television and film. And I always say television and film because this is where, as an independent artist, this was really the first opportunity that I had to get my music heard on a broader scale. I'm very independent. I'm in Texas. A lot of the things we did ourselves. We have producer friends that we've met along the way, but it was just started just in our house, little home studio making songs. And we ran into what a lot of independent artists run into. How do you get your songs heard? How do you get this message out? And my first song was called Spreading the Love. And the first time that I was able to get it out is when I just submitted to some music libraries. I'm like, I'm just going to submit this album. And maybe a few months later, that song was aired on just a few like little small shows.
Mhm.
And then I did like another 3-song EP because we didn't really have a budget back then. We were like, we're just going to make it as we go.
Okay.
The next 3-song EP that I did, all 3 songs were placed in television and film. One was placed in a Hershey's commercial. One was in Dance Moms, and they won that dance. They took it to their national. They won that dance. And the other, Call the Doctor, was placed in another type ad as well. And that was really the first time I would actually say that I made a income. Like, hey, I can make a living.
A lot of money. You can go ahead and say it. I saw you post. I made it.
Well, because of course, it's not the reason why you're doing music,
right.
but you do want to be able to support yourself. And we just really didn't know, like, how can we continue to put out music, and how can we continue to grow and let people hear it? Because we didn't have a marketing budget, we didn't have any of that. But because it was on those different shows and those different places, it kind of did the marketing for us. And so we noticed that a lot of people who were hearing this music, they were like, oh, this really made my day. I was having a hard time. This really encouraged me. And I'll be like, okay, where did you hear it? Oh, I heard it on this television show. And I came back and I Shazammed you, which is the service where you press the button and it tells you who's the artist. And I came back to your page or to your YouTube because this song really just made my day. It picked me up out of a dark place, and you would just hear different things from just hearing at different places. So I just continued to create music and just put it in a couple of places that I really trusted. And
Mhm.
it kind of helps me with the marketing because, just being alone, you're like, okay, here. And Dre,
Yeah.
my husband, had helped too, but it was just us. We're like, how do we get this music out? How do we become what a lot of independent artists have to become is their own
Mm.
label?
Nice.
And so this really was an avenue that I will share with anybody. Like, hey, if you don't have a budget, but you have music and you have a vision and you want to get a message out,
Mhm.
go ahead and put your music on some of these libraries and some of these places that can play your songs because it works both ways. It helped me with a budget to create more music, and it got the music out so people could be encouraged. So that's how I got into that part. That was a little bit. I had to tell that story
That's
because
good.
I know a lot of people are like, well, how do you get your music out? I'm independent. I get that a lot online. And this is one of the things I tell people. I'm like, if you're independent and, first get your music first, what do you want to do? Who are you as an artist? And then I always tell them, this is one avenue, it's just, there's several, but this is just one avenue to get your music.
That's good.
Listen. It's one app, but it's a major app, and let's be clear. Don't play a safe placement and just being able to get your music out in front of the masses and movies and series and stuff. Listen, talk a little bit about your creative process because I'm very much interested to hear this because your music is totally different. It has a different sound and feel. So when you go in to create, when you write, what does that process look like for you making a song?
This process, so a lot of times the process is just me sitting down. Sometimes I sit down and write songs and I have in mind, like, I want to write this song. I have other times I'm out just doing stuff and this will come to me like how I'm feeling like, you know what? I have hope. This is one of my latest singles. I have hope in things unseen and it's going to get better, and just encouraging people. That was when I wrote during the pandemic and I didn't write it all in one time. I have like 1,000 voice memos because I'm humming the melody here. Usually the melody comes first. And then I'm writing some lyrics. I have my notes in my phone. I'm writing lyrics. And usually at the end, I'm putting it all together and I'm seeing like, okay, what am I, what do I want to say at this time? And so this is really where a lot of songs come from moments.
Mm.
So again, hope came from the pandemic. It's just a lot going on. It seemed very chaotic. A lot of people were just like, I don't really, everybody was going through something different.
Mhm.
And so for me, it was just like hope. It's just like, I have a lot of hope. Even our family, my dad had gotten really sick, just from COVID. Hope, and this was just the one word that I kept hearing was hope. Another song I wrote, which is just completely different, is I Do. I wrote that a little bit after I got married, and this was the one that was on Dance Mom. But it was just a song I wrote, about my husband at the time, I want to grow old next to you, And so it's kind of poppy, has that kind of poppy feel because at the time I did know like, okay, I am going to pitch this to a broader audience. So
Mm.
I wanted it to be kind of fun.
Mm.
And so this was I Do, but all these songs really just come from moments and, just things that are going on.
Nice.
Listen, Ellen, we appreciate you coming on with us today and definitely just sharing your gifts. Last thing I will want to ask you, if you could give inspiring artists maybe one or two advice or tips, what would you give to inspiring artists who's looking to do like move the lane where you are right now?
Mm.
You know what? A lot of times I will say this. The the wanting to sometimes give up on your gift and give up on what you're supposed to be doing is real.
Okay. Mm.
And especially when you don't feel like the direction is clear, because it
Mm.
wasn't like a clear path. It wasn't like, okay, I'm on this label now, I'm doing this. And even if I was on a label, I know that's hard. That can be hard in itself. But a lot of the time, it was just a faith walk. It was a trust that what I'm doing is going to return fruit because I was just planting seeds. So I'm going to say if you are starting out, you know, there are a lot of resources, even what we were talking about that you can do with your music. But the thing is, you have to keep going even when it gets tough. You have to have that push to be like, you know what, this is going to make sense. I'm just planting seeds, but they're going to come back to me. So starting out, plant those seeds, but don't give up. Don't give up before it returns fruit. So
That's good. That's good. That's good. Listen, can you tell the people how they can connect with you, follow you on all your platforms? Like they say, and shout out some of the work you've done too as well, some of the, series and stuff that people have heard you on, but they did not know.
oh my goodness. Well, some of the shows recently was All American. They played my song Survivor at the very end of the episode, and they played about a minute of it. So that was one. Hershey's, Target ads, Dove ads. Dance Moms was a big one because they did the full dance to the song. Netflix, a movie called Fallen in Love. It had Christina Milian in it. And boy, there's been just a lot of blessings. But those are some Hershey's. I think I mentioned that one. There's a lot of commercials and television shows that I've been blessed to hear those songs in. But those were just a few. And if you're looking to find me, ellenonceagain.com. And all of my social medias at Ellen Once Again. I'm doing duets on TikTok a lot. So come and sing with me. TikTok at Ellen Once Again, YouTube, all of the social media